Okay, today what we're going to do is shoot some hummingbirds. Every spring I set these flowers up, and sometimes they get a little more elaborate, sometimes it's pretty simple. This year is pretty simple. I try to get a little backdrop here and situate the flowers right below the feeder. That way once they get used to coming to this feeder, I can take it down, take a little hypodermic needle, put a little sugar water in the exact flower that I want to photograph. They'll come up, test it, drink, back off, go back in. That's when I'll take the picture. Some people put up just one colored background with one flower. A lot easier to light. I don't particularly care for that. I'd rather have like a garden, or more of a natural, a lot of different colors in the background. It's a hummingbird, so that's just the way I like to shoot it. Equipment wise, I'm using 4 flashes, 3 285 Vivitars, and 1 Canon 550. I shoot a 300mm or 500mm lens. Use pocket wizards to fire the flashes off. And what you have to remember is I'm basically shooting in a studio environment with no ambient light. Everything is flash light. The flash duration, I've got it dialed to 1/16th power, which is a fast flash duration. That's what's going to actually stop the wings. No ambient light. The more ambient light you let creep into your exposure, you're going to take a chance of having a little ghost image in there. So that's just the way I shoot it, and it tends to work out pretty good. One thing you want to remember is when you take your feeder down and then they start coming back in, they're looking for the feeder. They'll find your flower that is the closest one to where they were feeding from. After you shoot them for a while like that, say a couple little sessions, take a little break, put your feeder back up. Don't overstress the bird. Let them have time to feed, because they feed a lot and they need it. And they'll get used to you standing out here doing this. I'm surprised one hadn't come up here yet. I'm going to settle down and see if I can get a picture of one. When you start photographing hummingbirds, you'll soon realize that some days are better than others. The weather has a big part in how often they fly and they fight different times of the year. Sometimes they're fighting so much, they're more worried about the territory than they are about feeding, seems like. Other days, 2 or 3 will land on the feeder and feed. Sometimes you can get them to come into the flower, and the other ones will leave them alone, and you'll have a great day of photography. Other days, they're too worried about fighting each other. Whether it be a cloudy day or a rainy day, those days seem to be a lot better than bright sunshine days or hot days. Mornings and evenings are real good. I don't tend to shoot a long time late in the evening. I'd rather give them a chance to feed real good before they roost for the night. One thing is, as far as the flashes go, the 285 Vivitars, the 1/16th power, that's as low as you can dial down the power, which will give you the fastest flash duration that those flashes are capable of. The reason I use them is they're very inexpensive. You can get them for $65 to $80 on eBay or something like that. Where a Canon 550, I can dial that power down to 1/28th power, which is going to be a lot faster flash duration, which is a lot better for stopping the action, but a lot more money. Some Mets flashes go all the way up to 1/256th power. That's even better. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to touch on was with a 500mm, you've got a 5-degree angle of view. With a 300, you have a 8-degree angle of view, and with a 200 you have a 12-degree angle of view. You can get the bird the same size in the image with either lens, but you're going to have more background with a 200 than a 500 millimeter lens, which means with a 500 you can concentrate your lighting in one little area. You've got less to worry about, because the more you have to light, the more complicated it's going to get, the harder it's going to get for it to look natural. And then as far as when I was saying let the bird go in and feed in your flower, the reason I do that is if he goes in and tastes the sugar water and then he comes back and goes in again, when you hit him with the flash, he's going to take off right quick, but he'll come back because he realizes that the sugar water is there in that flower. And then you might get 3 or 4 opportunities to photograph him real quick in that one little session, where if you don't let him know that the sugar water's in there, as soon as he sticks it in there and you pop him with the flash, he's not coming back for a while.